About 250 million years ago, our planet Earth was ruled by reptiles. They used to live in land, water, and even sky. But where and how did they start their life? Let us trace it back from the very start. A super long time ago, when Earth was just getting started, tiny living things called bacteria ruled the oceans for 3 billion years. You couldn't see them with your own eyes. They were smaller than specks of dust, but they swam around in the water and helped life get going. After this, 650 million years ago, life developed in such a state that we could see with open eyes. During the same time, animals without spines were born in water. And by the time of about 400 million years, life flourished very rapidly in the sea, in which such creatures were born that became bigger than normal. The first reptile species appeared on Earth around 300 million years ago. This was the time when the size of insects flying in the sky was also up to 3 feet. This period was called Paleozoic era. At this time, life flourished very quickly. This period, which gave birth to different creatures, was considered a golden time in itself. But in the end, this era ended with a very terrible devastation. 95% of the Earth's species became extinct due to this great cataclysm. But life on Earth was still left in the form of fish and microorganism in the sea. And only after this, the era of reptiles started on Earth. Species of reptiles that lived on land were called dinosaurs, while those found in water were called marine reptiles by scientists. This entire period of reptiles was called the Mesozoic period. These creatures kept their hold on the sea and on the land throughout the Mesozoic period. There were 3 parts of the Mesozoic period: Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous period. 3 groups of reptiles were found on the sea throughout the Mesozoic period. First were ichthyosaurs. They were found all over the sea in the Triassic period, who swam like a fish with the help of their tail. Second were plesiosaurs, who reigned the sea during Jurassic period. They were the best swimmers, who swam with their strong pedals as if they were flying in the air. And last of all were the Mosasaurus, which were the most expert hunters until the end of the Cretaceous period. During early Triassic period, ichthyosaurs were the kings of the seas, and at this time all the continents of the world were attached together. And this huge great island was called Pangaea. At this same time, the sea was much warmer than today, and the temperature on land was also very hot. But on the other side, life was flourishing on the sea. Due this time, many types of reptiles were found here. This is Tanystropheus. It was recognized by its extremely elongated neck, which measured 3 meters long, longer than its body and tail combined. The neck was composed of 12 to 13 extremely elongated vertebrae. The beginning of the Triassic period was filled with species of ichthyosaurs. The fastest among these was the myxosaur, which looked like the dolphins of today's world, but it was not a species of dolphin, but a species of reptile. Another creature of the same family was Ophthalmosaurus. Named for its extremely large eyes, it had a 6 meters long dolphin-shaped body with jaws containing many small but robust teeth. Due to these large eyes, Ophthalmosaurs could easily find their prey even in the greater depths of the sea. Apart from this, some species of ichthyosaurus were 75 feet long in size and weighed 50 tons. These were called Shawnosaurus. These were the largest reptiles of the Triassic period, which always remained in groups. Apart from these reptiles, there were many other dangerous creatures in this sea full of dangers, like Tusa, which looked like today's squid. It used to be about 40 feet long, whereas 20 feet long fish Zoophactinus, which used to hunt by living in groups. With time, ichthyosaurs were replaced by a new group of marine reptiles in the Jurassic period. They're called plesiosaurus. At the end of the Triassic period, and by the end of the Jurassic period, the Pangaea Island began to divide into different islands. Due to this, the humidity in the climate started increasing, and now life on Earth began to spread rapidly apart from the sea. With carnivorous reptiles like megalosaurs and herbivores reptiles like stegosaurs coming into existence. This period was much greener than the Triassic era and proved to be a golden age for life. Reptiles like Brachiosaurus grew up to 100 feet in length. This was a golden period for the flourishing of new species of reptiles on Earth. At the same time, plesiosaurus was also ruling the sea unilaterally. This is Styxosaurus. Styxosaurus was a massive, long-necked marine reptile from the elasmosaurid plesiosaurus family. This creature stretched up to 12 meters long, with nearly half its body length in its flexible neck, allowing it to ambush fish and squid in murky waters. Meanwhile, Liopleurodon was one of the most dangerous reptiles. It measured 50 feet long. It was the only creature at that time that had no fear of being preyed upon by anyone else. At the same time, there was another species of plesiosaur called Elasmosaurus. They used to swallow sea stones to digest their food. Over time, about 30 million years later, the new predator in the plesiosaurus lineage was replaced by Kronosaurus, growing up to 35 feet in size. This creature had established its dominance over the ocean. But besides this plesiosaurus, there was another group of giant creatures whose size will surprise you. Leadsichthys. It was more than 100 feet in size. Scientists believed that this fish was the largest fish of that time. But how do we know so much about them? Scientists have found many fossils at several famous fossil sites in Germany. By studying them, we have gained information about them. Some fossils are in such perfect condition that their bones are still intact. Additionally, the marks left by their bodies have been found in very good condition on the stones, which has helped us to understand their structure and the condition of the wings. By the end of the Cretaceous period, the continents had drifted apart, but a large part of Europe was still submerged. But now the plesiosaurus were no longer the kings of the sea, but rather the two largest creatures of the time were ruling the ocean. At number 1 was the 55 feet long, most powerful Mosasaurus prognathodon. The second largest was the 34-foot-long megalodon shark. Mosasaurus was the last powerful sea creature at the end of the Mesozoic era. Mosasaurus was the most dangerous killer of the late Cretaceous period in the ocean food chain. This 28-ton creature could grow up to 60 feet. Its large eyesight, ability to spot prey from afar, and strong jaws made it one of the most powerful and dangerous marine carnivorous reptiles. For some years, scientists believed it was a descendant of an ancient crocodile, but continued research revealed it was a distinct species, unrelated to any of today's reptiles. It lived on the surface of the water because it had to come to the surface frequently to breathe. But towards the end of the Cretaceous era, 65 million years ago, a cataclysm came from the universe, which collided with the Earth, and 95% of the creatures living on land and in the sea were suddenly wiped out. And along with the end of the dinosaurs, the end of the marine reptiles also came. What was that cataclysm? How did it wipe out the dinosaurs? Earth shuddered, skies burst into flame, darkness swallowed the world. giants starved in endless night? Or did they? The hidden truth explodes in part 2.